Over 70 competitors would take the start of the Croft Hillclimb 2023, run by the Thoroughbred Sportscar Club of Northern Ireland, the opening round of the ANICC Hillclimb Championship, sponsored by Motorsport Supplies. This was a sad weekend for Irish motorsport, as World Championship rally driver Breen had passed away in a tragic accident only a couple of days beforehand. A minute's silence was observed for the Waterford driver, who had so much enjoyed rally stages in this area, particularly while winning the Circuit of Ireland as a European Championship round in 2016. Craig will not be far from the thoughts of any motorsport competitors for a long time to come. This was a beautiful day to celebrate our sport. It would prove to be McGimpsey's Green Road, with Ryan setting fastest time of day on run 3 in his 1300cc Jedi Mark 1. His brother Richard had led initially on run 1 in the RMG V2 Sportscar, ahead of reigning multiple Northern Ireland Hillclimb champion Graham Thompson, second in the GTR Turbo. Stephen Robb was also a quick starter in third place on that opening run in his 1000cc Jedi. Thompson showed the pace that's won him 10 of these championships on run 2, going into the lead with a 34.28. Ryan moved ahead of Richard on this run into second, with Robb pushed down to fourth. On run 3 he responded to Thompson with that FTD of 33.9. A determined run from Richard saw him go 400ths faster than Graham's run 2, which would stand as his best of the day. None of the top 3 would improve on run 4, but Stephen Robb would close to just over a second behind the GTR after remarkably consistent times all day. He was pushing to keep Phil Dorman behind him. The OMS driver had got down to just 4 tenths behind on run 2, a time that would secure 5th overall for him. This was a first Hillclimb win for Ryan McGimpsey after winning his first sprint only a few weeks earlier.
I managed to get FTD at the sprint there, not the corner, 2 weeks ago. So that was my first FTD ever, so got this one as well, so well chuffed.
It must be quite a challenge over the bumps in such a powerful lightweight car.
It's getting worse every year. The bit at the end, there's a proper big divot now just where you want to be braking, so it's always fun coming into that.
He was full of praise for the club and how well they'd run the event.
It was a great day. The weather was kind and yeah, super event by the club as well. They always run an event that just runs like clockwork. Getting 4 runs as well is always a bonus, so yeah, great fun.
Richard McGimpsey was very surprised with the result he'd recorded in the sports car.
I've just finished the car really and had a few sprints and had no real plans to bring it out to Hillclimb. And then a few beers one night and my brother texted me saying that those entries are live, so I thought sure we'll give it a crack anyway. I've done it quite a few times before in a single seater.
He wasn't bothered at being beaten by his little brother this time.
My dad was All-Ireland champion in hill climbs, so all 3 of us now have won. I've got FTD at Croft before, so it's quite nice to have that in the family, all 3 of us. So no, here I'm delighted for him, chuffed a bit for him. So mine went alright, didn't break anything, it's good fun.
John Donnelly in the Pilbeam MP52 only recorded 1 time on the day, but that was good enough to claim him 6th overall. Robert McGimpsey, the 1986 champion, reminded us where his sons got the talent, recording 7th overall in his 2000cc Maigali. There was a titanic battle, if you'll pardon the local reference, from the Class 9A cars of Roger Gage and Daniel Campbell to be fastest saloons. These guys are also perpetuating the age-old debate between hold for understeer front-wheel drives or steer from the rear back-wheel drives. They didn't settle it on run 1 either, with the 2.2 litre 205 and the 2.5 litre Starlet setting equal times down to the 100th of a second. It couldn't be decided on run 2 either, with the front-wheel drive Peugeot and the rear-wheel drive Toyota unbelievably on equal times again. Run 3 decided it this time, with Roger finding a further 800ths of a second. Neither improved on run 4, however. Daniel got within 200ths of their previous best. The debate will go on. Such was their speed, they earned 8th and 9th overall, holding off George Stevenson's 1400cc Force PT in 10th. Alan Wallace enjoyed his time in the sun on a solo run in a Honda Del Sol in Class 1, the smaller production car class. Adrian Mulholland was the fastest in the larger 2-wheel drive production Class 2 in a very tidy Escort RS 2000. Michael Clark was second in his very sporty 1800cc Lotus Elise, while Philip Cardy was using all the road in his 2-litre MX-5 to take third in the class. There is an entire category for MX-5 Challenge spec cars in the Northern Irish Series, which looks to provide good value, competitive fun. Craig Ewing won with some stylish driving. James Crow's car was looking a little exhausted on run 2, but scored second with his best on run 3. Wayne Clyde took third place by just 300ths from Stuart Ainsley. Michael Wilson looked very sure-footed in his 1800cc Audi TT, the only representative of four-wheel drive production cars in Class 3. Enjoying a slightly looser experience was Gardner McElwain in a 2-litre Westfield in Class 5 for production cars that don't fit any of the other classes. Second in this class was Neil Roberts with a very authentic growl from his Jaguar XK140 replica. Gordon Fogarty scored the class record in the modified production Class 6A in 2021. He only recorded one time this year, a bit off that record-setting pace in the Fiat X19. Dara Fay, who was fastest saloon in the Motorsport Ireland Championship last year, topped the multi-valve modified production car Class 6B here at Croft with a top 20 time in the Suzuki Swift. Second in the class was Andrew Straney in a 2-litre Vauxhall Astra, the source of the red top engine which propelled so many single-seaters in its day. Pete Dornan had held second in the class after the first two runs in the Peugeot 206, just 1400 separated them at the end of the event. Jack Bowl narrowly missed out on the top 10, but took the two-wheel drive modified specialist production Class 7 in the 1300cc Hayabusa engine GTR. I'm glad he has wings. The Hawthorns seemed to think they'd only be a drag. Stephen took second in the class, sharing the 1400cc Megabusa with David, who finished just a tenth of a second behind, but ahead of Andy by 900ths, all light-footing the Westfields to steer the course. Behind the overall battle of Roger Gage and Daniel Campbell in Class 9A, Gary Campbell was third in another rear-wheel drive starlet. Neil Dugan's 2.4-litre 205 is modified to that format, and it looks like he enjoys it that way. I was surprised to see the rear wheel spin when John Murphy left the line, but it's great to see the tradition of making rear wheel drive Fiestas continue in the KR. James Roddy won the smaller two-wheel drive rally car class in a 1600 Citroën Saxo, a car from a very different rallying era to Jack Bryan's Lotus Elan, which was second. Simon Bryan double drove that car to third. Martin Flanagan's 3-litre M3 won the big two-wheel drive rally class from John McDowell's 2.5-litre Mark II Ford Escort. Mark Lancashire's Impreza makes some fireworks launching off the start line to take the four-wheel drive rally class from Ted Johnston's Escort Cosworth, which is no lag either. The rest of the cars in Class 14 made the top 10, while Kieran Smith was 5th in the class in the 1700cc Stevenson Rocket. The Class 15 finishers all scored in the top 10 overall, apart from Brendan Flynn, who unfortunately broke a drive shaft on run 1 in the Megapin Carbon 2000cc. The TSCC crew had his car lifted and returned to the paddock with very little delay. There are 3 classes for historic and vintage cars in the Northern Ireland Hillclimb Championship. Class 16A is for road-going saloons. Colin McDowell was the fastest of these in his Morris Mini from Jerry McGarity with a Mini Cooper. These guys really throw their precious cars around. Diego Brett was chasing them in a Lotus Elan third. Norman Harvey could only be outdone for sideways action by himself. First in the non-road going historic Class 16B in an unarched Mark II. Paul Taggart was second in a glistening Mark I Escort with all the arches. Trevor McIlroy put in a sprightly performance in his Austin Healey Sebring for third. The Thoroughbred vintage and veteran cars of Class 17 serve to remind us the long history of hill climbing, and there was proper competition here too. Michael Taylor in the 1325cc MGTA was the fastest on run 1 with a 50-40 from Angus Johnson's 2300cc Alfa Romeo Monza. Angus responded to lead after run 2 with a 50.06, while Michael only improved by 100th of a second. Andrew Johnson worked hard to get into the mix in a 1750cc Alfa Romeo and got down to a 50.52 on run 3. But on this run, Michael Taylor went on to do a 49.83 to win the class for the day as Johnson lost time. Fourth place was Sheila Glover in a 4096cc MGTA, and fifth was Simon Thomas in a Fiat Balila 1275cc. It was a great day's sport. Competitors were delighted with 2 practice and 4 runs. The next round of the championship is scheduled for the 29th of April at Craigauntlet.